It's wonderful to welcome the Toronto-based musical duo Dandelion Highway. They are Kayleigh McGavock, I hope I pronounced your name right, and
Yeah.
Chris Sytnyk. I hope I pronounced
Yes,
your name right also.
Woohoo!
Welcome
Happy.
to, welcome to the show, guys. How are you?
we are
Good.
good.
We're good. We're getting ready for a day full of rehearsals.
hmm Yeah. Yeah, I understand. It's pretty early in Toronto, Canada right now. It's afternoon, but feels like evening here.
Oh, nice. Where are you?
Budapest, Hungary.
Oh my God. Wow.
Yeah, so we have a 6 hour time difference, so it's five. And of course, as you know, in winter, it gets darker and quicker than usual.
Yeah,
Right, right.
I know. Hard.
Yeah. So I was introduced to you through Cassidy Taylor. I actually had a podcast with her the day before we are recording this, and she says that she's opening for you guys on the 17th of December, so Tuesday, next Tuesday, according to the date
We're
that we're recording.
we love Cassidy. We're big fans of her work.
All right. So how did you guys come to meet?
We did a show with her in I believe it was January, February. It's an independent festival called the Sundown Sessions, and we are on the same bill there, and we've sort of struck up conversations ever since, and been wanting to do something together for a while, and we're finally able to make it happen.
Yeah.
So any plans to collaborate musically, like on a recording studio, maybe?
Oh, we've been spending the last year focusing so much on recording our own songs and getting the Dandelion Highway sound kind of established. We haven't really thought yet about working with other artists, like as a kind of, what do you call that? Featuring other artists on our songs or anything like that.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, I think if when we decide to do that, I think she'd be perfect. She's very talented.
It'd be so fun.
Yeah.
Tell me about the name, Dandelion Highway.
Chris, do you want to let them know what our name was going to be? Your next.
Oh, oh yeah. Well, it was a choice between that and Walkie Talkie Snowman, which one of my nieces came up with, and so we yeah. But I think Kayleigh's mom came up with that. We had a couple words on the go, and
It's
we
really
dandy. Oh, sorry.
a combination of us both. I think you had highway
Yeah,
line and well, we
yeah,
be directions based or like road based, right? And
yeah.
my
I
mom,
like the idea of traveling. Yeah,
yeah, which suits us.
yeah.
I see.
And then my mom came up with the name, and we all loved it.
Wow. Um, so how was the duo formed? How did you guys meet?
Chris, you want to take this?
Well, we have a mutual. We went to a concert for an Irish singer named CMAT, and we got talking. And we have a lot of the same musical sensibilities, and we have a mutual friend who we were at the concert with, and I'd mentioned to her that I'd like to work with Kayleigh if she ever wanted to, and she had sent the same message to this friend of ours, Emily, and so a few weeks later we got together. We actually played a show with Kayleigh at the Painted Lady where we're playing on Tuesday, and we just got together and learned a few songs, and
Yeah,
that was sort of our first musical collaboration, I guess.
yeah.
Almost, yeah. Was it November 2 years ago, I guess. So, yeah.
We both had our own like kind of bodies of work, but I think we were both a bit stagnant at the time musically and weren't really, creating new music as much or doing pursuing music as actively. So it wasn't until meeting each other that that sparked again, and you know
I see.
we started Dandelion Highway.
Mhm. Yeah. Uh, Give us a bit of a summary on your respective like musical bodies of work before your crossover.
Oh yeah, Chris has a larger um uh database to pull from. I don't know the correct way to say that. I had a few songs. Like I was writing, I've always wrote music, but I have been performing music in Toronto since 2018. I wrote a song called Home. That's like the first one off the EP we're just releasing now. All about missing Ireland and kind of finding your new identity in a new country, you know. Um, and I had a couple of other songs that I had written, but I never really truly felt any of them were complete until I started working with Chris, you know, and he's got so much experience songwriting and working with all different artists, and we found so many talented artists to play pieces or parts on those songs, and now they finally feel complete to me.
Yeah, I was a bass player for years and played with a bunch of artists and different bands, and started writing songs on my own a few years ago. And but I always liked the idea of like duets, and I have a pretty low voice, so it's nice to have someone to do some higher harmonies.
Yeah,
So when we got together, it seemed to work out really well. We wrote our first song on our first writing session, so that was it's been really fun to be working together, and I think we really enjoy. We're excited about the songs we've written and the songs we have yet to write.
yeah, right. Like it feels like I have a few songs on my phone now ready to go, but I'm like they need Chris's like input on them now. Dan- Chris, so fun.
So you mentioned the new upcoming EP that you have is titled The Crossing and is coming, I believe, in February of next year. So tell me more about the record.
Well, we did one song with a producer named Ron Lapata, who I wanted to work with for a long time. And the sessions went so well, and so he encouraged us to do a 5-song EP.
Yeah,
Um, so we took our time with it, and it was about a year and a half process. You know, uh, the sessions he worked really fast, but just scheduling and stuff. Uh, but we finished the last song, I guess sometime in the summer, and then we sort of set up the release. So it was about an 18-month process to get it all organized.
yeah.
Um,
It was fun, but a lot of work, wasn't it? A lot of like,
yeah.
Mhm. Yeah. So what were some of the most difficult challenges in putting the EP together?
Well,
it's.
I think.
Oh, you go ahead. You go ahead.
Oh, I the three of the songs weren't even written when we started it, so I think just the getting songs together that we were excited about, and something we didn't want to just go through our old catalogs. We wanted to try and really um, sort of showcase our collaborative work. So the hard I think the hardest thing was actually writing the material for the EP, but also the most every part every part of the process was really enjoyable.
It was really inspiring, wasn't it? Like you said, like some of the songs weren't even written when we started. Like it really felt so energizing to work with someone like Ron and like you, who's like you're very yes people, you know, it's like yes and that's a good idea and
Yeah,
and it just a really creative time. Like we were having so much fun writing those songs too.
yeah. I think we have the same sensibilities, so I think we kind of finish each other's musical sentences in a way.
Yeah, it's true. Like it was hard to do, but at the same time, it was, you know, we knew we could do it because we never really, sorry, what's the best way to phrase it? Like it was just so easy going in the studio and
Yeah,
we had the same sensibilities. Yeah, like we all knew that we were working towards the same goal, and that's what made it so kind of easy to just keep writing and keep putting new tunes out there because we knew we were in a supportive kind of environment.
yeah. Yeah, I think we really tried hard to just enjoy the process and really go in when we were ready to go in, there were times where the song needed a bit more seasoning before we brought it to the studio, but it the those sort of decisions we made really worked out, and I think we were able to make the best EP we could at the time.
Yeah.
So, for those who are tuning in on video, Kayleigh has a canine companion with her. So I'm told that his name is Maple. So tell me more about him.
Oh, yeah, Mabel. She's
Maple.
their mascot, you would say. Chris said that he's going to ride Mabel's coattails all the way to success. So she's always used in in the Instagram and on the stories. Yeah, she's a little character, isn't she, Chris?
Yeah, she's a good girl. We enjoy having her. I think made her way into both videos that we've done so far, and I can't see why she wouldn't be in the next one too.
She
Look at that face.
to our videographer Mark's house. That's where we recorded. That's where we recorded home, part of home. And she let herself into his house and took over. She just marched over the whole rounded up his family. She let herself into Mark's mother's house. She's a boss, the boss of Dandelion Highway.
Yeah. So you mentioned that the duo was formed when you both were sort of in a creatively and musically stagnant period. So I wonder, how did you guys manage to form a new musical direction while at the same time find, I suppose, overlaps between each other's musical styles?
I think it was inspiring to work with Chris. Like I kind of mentioned before, he's very positive, and like Ron was very positive. So it was easy to be vulnerable and like share songs. And also the fact that we just have a lot of the same influences. Like we had a lot of overlap already. It just clicked, didn't it, Chris?
Yeah, yeah. It's not like we've had to make a conscious decision to stay on the same path. We do what excites us, and I think we both get excited about the same kind of music.
Yeah, very rarely actually do we kind of disagree on pieces for the songs.
Yeah.
Like usually, you know, if it's not my first choice, it's my second choice, like Chris is suggesting. It's very easy to like what would you say, compromise. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
So far, we have two songs that were released in ahead in time of the EP. You've mentioned one that is Home, and the other is that's one titled We Are Gold, and that was the song where, Cassidy Taylor introduced me to, and that's how we
Oh,
met.
that's nice.
I love it.
Yeah. So, tell me first about the We Are Gold song. How did it come about?
Well, it was um it was a chance meeting with an ex-partner um in many years later, and she just I think she saw me before I saw her, and she just was she was with a bunch of friends, and just gave me this big smile and came over, and we had a really nice conversation for a few minutes, and she let her friends go on her way, and I mean, it was nice to know that, we had this shared experience years ago, and it felt like a really nice kind of closure because yeah, I'm very, we were both really happy for each other, and thankful for the time we had together. And it was kind of just a really nice, heartwarming moment. And yeah, it's my way of saying thank you. And you know, we were just at different times in our lives, and it was nothing she did and nothing I did. It was just, it just wasn't right for the time. But I still think she's incredible.
Ah. So Chris wrote that song and I added harmony to it then, and I added like the pieces that I sing. So I was blown away by Chris's story and how positively he tells the story. Never heard anyone, you know, describe a breakup with absolutely like no malice and just with goodwill. So I was like, okay, let's provide that levity in the song. So I tried to make the harmonies and stuff a little bouncy, and the parts I was singing were like happy, you know.
Yeah, yeah. No, I love what you came up with. I think you really finished the song, and you know, I thought the song was done, but then now I don't think of the song as when I play it on my own. I can't. It doesn't feel finished unless Kayleigh's singing the parts that she came up with. It's
Ah,
really nice stuff.
Yeah, it is a beautiful story behind the song.
Thanks.
So
Thank you.
I'm guessing you would consider it an anti-breakup song.
Uh, uh, yeah, it's just a, you know, it's life experience and just, you know, we're tr all, you know, I think I'm trying to embrace the hard parts, you know, as well as the joyful parts in life. And, uh, and that's just, you know, just celebrating being alive and all the good times and bad times, you know.
happy for everything that's happened, kind of.
Exactly. Yeah. And it's gotten us to this place and we're really enjoying the ride so far.
Mhm. Well, Kayleigh, do you have an equivalent story to Chris that you wouldn't mind sharing?
Oh yeah, one on the EP.
Um, well, I'll say so, but I'll start with a story of like a relationship that
Oh,
dissolved, but you've managed to patch things up or
oh yeah.
receive closure and such.
I guess I guess Creoline is that. So that's one of the songs on the EP. It's not so much about a relationship with another person as it is. I think it might have been about hmm, sorry, let me start again. I think the easiest one maybe would be to say Reality Honey, which was a song about um dating in Toronto. It was about my experience of like just the new culture and the new way people present themselves and stuff. And I thought it was strange at first, I think, when I moved here to go from like a small city in Ireland, where I'm from, to Toronto. And yeah, so that's what that song was about. It's not actually on the EP. I'm sorry, I just panicked and went with it. But it's recorded and it's available on Spotify.
It's
Um,
a wonderful song.
yeah. Free Ollie, which is the final song on the EP, is kind of about uh, a relationship with yourself, kind of, or like it's a hope that you can remain strong and who you're meant to be without pressures of like society pressing on you. I imagine I wrote it with my little nephew in mind. It means like kind-hearted in Gaelic. So the last song on our EP is Gaelic, in Gaelic.
That's wonderful. Yeah. So, Kayleigh, do you speak Gaelic fluently?
No, it's kind of a dead language. Um, so some people can speak it fluently. In my county, Waterford, there's like Gael talks there where they teach it. I don't speak fluently, but I can speak some. Everybody in Ireland has to learn it for years. So, I mean, I should speak it fluently, but not completely.
Yeah. So, just for curiosity's sake, what is a Gaelic phrase or sentence that you can remember that, perhaps
Oh,
brings you joy?
it brings me joy. Uh, Neil hint on, right? A hint on pain. There's no fire like your own fire. There's no place like home.
Oh, wow.
Mm.
One. What else could I think of? All that's coming to my head are terrible Irish pickup lines that the girls use.
Well, I'm curious to hear an example, actually.
But I won't shame my country with it.
Okay.
But no, Creoline, I think, is a nice phrase. It's kind of like a term of endearment. That one, like, it means lovely heart, maybe, or lovely soul. And it's lovely. Our friend, our mutual friend Megan, has a necklace with Creoline on it, which originally inspired the song. It was like a gift.
Oh,
Yeah, we were talking about maybe incorporating it in a music video, Chris.
yes.
I got a great idea to do a close up of it.
Oh, amazing.
Maybe we can share the story a little bit through video later.
All right. Yeah. I don't speak Gaelic, of course, but actually I know a friend who's also a folk musician. I believe she lives in the Atlantic part of Canada, so Cape Breton and all that stuff, and actually has some of her songs in Gaelic, and it's
Oh
very
wow.
wonderful. Yeah.
And her,
Um, yeah. Mary Beth Carty is her name, and I'll share with you some of her music and yeah, where to
Yeah,
find her
please.
when we
yeah.
log off. Yeah. She's a wonderful friend also.
Nice. Nice.
Um, yeah, so Kayleigh, you've identified yourself as a non-Canadian, so we are two-thirds non-Canadian in this particular conversation. Um, I had a chance to be in Canada for 4 years when I was a student. So,
Ah,
Kayleigh, what brought you to Canada?
Oh, so I had a couple of friends here from Ireland. Like you may have noticed when you were in Toronto that the place is like full of Irish, right? Like there's a lot of like Irish immigrants here. And it's because largely like we immigrate to Australia and to Canada because they're English speaking and it's very easy to acquire a visa. Like I wish it was a very, exciting tale where I was like, oh, I cannot wait to experience Canada. But I truly had never been here before. I didn't know what to expect. I'd finished university a year prior at the time and I was kind of in a bit of a rush and I needed to do something new and push myself out of my comfort zone. So I said, let's try it. Let's go. I'll visit my friends. I might go for a summer. And now it's almost 6 years later and I'm still here. I loved it. Like I just fell in love with Toronto.
Let's see. So it's been 6 years, so I'm guessing you're here since 2018.
That's it. Fast maths.
Wow. Um, yeah, I first arrived in Canada in like late 2017. So yeah, just a year before you.
Oh yeah.
oh,
They were some harsh winters back then. I really was blown away by it. Like electrical storms with snow and stuff and with winter. I didn't even know that that was a thing that could happen. And that's when I wrote home. Like you'll hear the lyrics. The snow is taking hold, sticks to my bones. They call this mild, I'm dying. Like in that winter.
So Chris, what are some of the niche Canadian things that you've managed to introduce to Kayleigh?
oh, yeah. Hockey? We watch a lot of hockey together.
Not true.
Um, and yeah, I don't know. I guess I had the typical Canadian upbringing, but I don't do a lot of winter sports anymore, and I don't play. I mean, we did a cover of a song called Bob Cajun, which is by
Yeah.
um, a really famous Canadian band called the Tragically Hip. So, but yeah,
And lots of Tims. You
lots
got
of
me.
yes, yeah, yeah. Tim Hortons definitely. Tim's coffees and donuts. What else? Yeah, I don't know.
That's fun.
Yeah,
Lots of different Canadian artists, maybe, that I hadn't heard of.
yeah, that's right. Yeah, we have yet to have a beaver tail, but maybe we'll do that this winter.
Oh, yeah, we'll go.
Yeah.
Right. So for my 4 years of living in Canada, there are three things I can still remember, like finding out
Yeah.
blew my mind as such. One is that you gave some of the greatest SNL performers, John
Oh,
Candy and Dan Aykroyd, and of course Jim Carrey. Um,
yeah.
Also the beaver tail, which is not a literal tail of a beaver, but a pastry. This like cinnamon and sugar covered piece of
Yeah.
dough,
It
fried dough, basically.
it's magical.
Yes, I tried it once. I really like it, but then
Yeah.
I thought to myself that yeah, the next time I will try it will be at least 10 years from now because it's a bit too much.
It's pretty, yeah, they're a they're an adventure for sure.
Yeah, and thirdly, Canada has a wonderful tradition of folk music. There's influence everywhere. Yeah, I think each region has a sort of like folk music tradition of its own. Like I think I've already mentioned Cape Breton, but there's a an Arcadian folk music tradition as well.
Hmm.
So, Chris, what elements of this grand tradition are you influenced by?
Well, I I have I have relatives, uh, a lot of them from the East Coast on my mom's side, and so actually one of my cousins, my mom's cousins, played in a pretty famous Canadian Celtic band in the 1960s. So and we just grew up listening to a lot of like Gordon Lightfoot and a lot of folk music. But yeah, I still have relatives in PEI and Newfoundland.
Oh, we're going
Uh,
to this, hopefully.
yes, yes, hopefully we're going this summer to play there. We'll see. But yeah, I mean, yeah, there's a great country tradition in more in the West Coast. But there's also a great folk scene here in Toronto, and we've been lucky enough to play with some really talented artists already. Um, yeah, so it's I guess I guess it's not that different from the Irish folk music. It comes from the same
Yeah,
heart.
similar roots, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think before going to Canada, I always thought Canadian folk music to be associated with the likes of Neil Young and the band,
Oh yeah,
Robbie
yeah.
Robertson and Levon Helm and all that. But yeah, once I lived there, yeah, I found out that there's a much greater tradition to be accounted for.
Yeah, there's a real history in Yorkville, which is now this really sort of posh area of Toronto. But in the 60s, there were, it was loaded with coffee houses and like Joni Mitchell used to play there and Neil Young used to play there. Like really exciting time for music in Toronto. But it's still going on. I mean, there's some, it's a nice little community we have here.
Yeah, and
Mm.
there's influences from all over the world too, right? Like
Yeah,
all of the different cultures here.
yeah, yeah. It's nice. We've been lucky to play with some really inspiring people already.
Yeah. I love that you can go see a band any night of the week here and you'll just know they're gonna be
Yeah,
great. Like
yeah.
amazing the scene here. Mabel, she's looking to the camera now.
Hello.
She
Yeah, so what is the origin behind her name? So Mabel, so Mabel, I suppose.
yeah. She got her name from a little cartoon, a Disney cartoon that me and my brother watch, Gravity Falls.
Oh yeah, I know that one.
Yes. My brother always says that I'm like Mabel. Um, and then I don't know how it ended up being her name, but yeah, it's definitely from that cartoon.
Yeah, that's the show where the bad guy is a triangle,
That's it.
right?
Bill I forget his
But
full
it,
name.
but a devious shape.
For sure.
I know that the actress who voiced Mabel, Kristen Shaw, is also like a big on SNL, and she's done some other like comedic roles.
Yeah,
Ah,
Yeah, she has a very distinctive voice.
she does a lot of different cartoons. Yeah, you would recognize her.
Mhm. Yeah. So passed on to you, Kayleigh. So what of the Irish folk music tradition that you are inspired by?
Oh, um, well, I don't know for sure. Like it's so ingrained, right, in who I am because my dad is also a musician. He plays guitar and taught me and my brother how to play guitar and he sings. Um, but not like publicly. He's very shy. But he's also like he's just such a big like music head. He listens to everything from everywhere in the world and like especially all the great like Irish artists. Like I'm definitely hugely inspired by like Glenn Hansard, and just there's so many. Like Mark, I don't even know how to list them all, but I'd say one thing that sticks with me from Irish music is like that melancholy aspect to it. I think there is a theme in Ireland to kind of lean into the sadness a little bit, um like the poetry and the music is all a little bit, I don't know, maybe somewhat inspired by the shitty rainy weather that we always have there. Um, but I think, working with Chris, and Chris is so positive. Like I do we try to find a happy like ending in each of the songs, right? Like we don't want to bring people down. Like I think Dandelion Highway is supposed to be like, I don't know, the music is supposed to be like a hand reaching out to someone else. Like we're trying to be authentic. Like we're positive people too. We want to put more of that into the world, I think. Would you agree with that, Chris? Never
Yeah, no,
really.
that's really well said. Yeah. Hey, we never really what's the word? We never really came up with a mission statement, but I think you just did. That was really well put.
Yeah, like the Irish music, it can be a bit dramatic and a bit sad, and I love that about it. Like it's finding heart in everything that you're talking about, you know what I mean? And that's definitely still alive with the music that we create.
Yeah.
Oh,
I listened to
that
some of
scared
the
me.
I listened to some of the songs by Christy Moore, and yeah, he's an amazing talent. And one thing I remember most is his distinctive vocals, which he's like has this thick Irish accent.
Yeah. Oh, Christy Moore is great. One of my dad's favorites. Damien Rice as well. I know Chris likes him too.
Mhm.
Like, yeah, the lyrics that were really like storytellers.
Yeah, yeah. So what are some of the things that Kayleigh, when you first come to Canada, you find to be the strangest?
Ooh, now what did I find to be strange? I think I don't know if it's a um a trait of Canadians. I don't think so. I think it's just like a big city vibe. So living in Toronto, I did find it strange at first how everybody just seemed so confident here, and everyone really expresses themselves in a like it's everybody has like a persona almost, and it takes a minute or two to get to know someone here, I think. But then as I spent more and more time here, I realized that it's just maybe the fact that it's a big city, and it's like, you know, people
Yeah.
are, I don't know. I don't know the right way to say it. But one other thing I would say about Canada in general, from having traveled through it all, I think that Canadians really deserve that stereotype that they're the nicest people. They're just so, you've experienced it yourself, like so kind. Like you can never be lost here because someone will come up and be like, "Can I help you with anything?" And the sorry, what did you call it, Chris? The Canadian standoffs between everyone's so polite. Like it is. That's beautiful. Oh, and the food from everywhere in the world. That's something I fell in love with when I moved here. But sorry, you asked me what I found strange. Just I've given you a positive spin.
Yeah, well, it is it has a neutral connotation, so it doesn't have to be good or bad. It's just something that you
Oh
find
yeah,
not so familiar with, with your previous experience, I suppose.
yeah, that was it. And of course, like the anonymity as well of living in a big city, like coming from a smaller town where everyone knows everyone. Like to coming here, I remember getting off the train and being like, "Oh my God!" Like downtown, like outside Union, I was like, you could be anyone here. You could be your most truest version of yourself, and there's no one here to hold you accountable to. Do you know what I mean? You could be anything. You could do anything. You have to just lean into the things that bring you joy. And it was such an amazing experience, like moving here. I'm so glad I did it.
Hmm. It's wonderful. Um, for me, I expected Canada to be very cold during the winter, but one thing I did not expect is that there are there are some people who I can see, walking when it's snowing or when it's really cold, but they only have their t-shirts and shorts on.
Yeah, I know they're brave.
Yeah.
They're
Very much so.
hardy folk. Like
It,
being freezing and bundled up, and people would be like, "This isn't even cold yet." And it's like, what?
Yeah.
yeah, it was -10 last night, and I saw people in sweatshirts, and I'm like, "You are crazy. You're gonna
Wow.
get, you're gonna freeze."
I know.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I get that too. I would wear layers like at the onset of autumn, and I'll get
Yeah.
Yeah.
the looks of it's
Yeah.
you're not even know the half of it yet or something like
Yeah.
I live in my long underwear.
that.
Yeah. Same. They're a great investment.
Yeah.
That's what we should sell as merch.
That's
Long johns with dandelion.
I'll take 5.
Practical.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
So, what are you guys doing for Christmas of this year?
um, this year I'm having a Christmas with my Irish friends on Christmas Eve. So we're all getting together and we're cooking dinner. Um, and on Christmas Day itself, I'm hanging out with a bunch of other musicians from Toronto. They're playing in an Indian restaurant with all their families. So I'm gonna go.
Oh,
Be fun. What about you, Chris?
oh. Well, yeah, we're doing Christmas Eve as a family, and then on Boxing Day we're going to watch a hockey game because that's what you're supposed to do on Boxing Days. Watch ice hockey. So yeah, yeah, it'll be fun. It'll be fun, and hopefully we'll do some music in there too. You know, maybe write a Christmas song for next year,
Yeah,
or we can write a song for Ukrainian Christmas, which is on January 6th. So
that's
yeah,
Chris's message.
yeah, on my dad's side. Yeah,
That's it. Yeah. Yeah, speaking of Toronto, I think the best thing that I find about Toronto is that you can find a restaurant of any other like cultural cuisines that you can think of.
yeah, it's incredible. I love that. Yeah,
I'd never tried so many different types of food before I moved here. Like, I don't think I'd ever tried Caribbean food or Vietnamese food, which I fell in love with and I'm still obsessed with. So good here, the food.
Very much so.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, and it's and it doesn't have to be some really fancy restaurant. Sometimes like the most nondescript places have the most authentic, incredible food,
Mhm.
Yeah,
It's really nice to be surprised. Yeah.
like it is funny. You asked me one thing that was strange about that I found strange when I moved here. I noticed that people seem to like queuing for things. Like
Yeah.
you'll always just joining a queue just because there is a queue. But now I completely understand it because
Yeah.
if you're in a city that has all the best like experiences and foods, like if people are queuing for something, you know that's gonna be good.
Yeah. Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, I waited in line for a curry. No, what was it? I think it was pho. And Sunday night at 7 o'clock. We lined up. It was so good though. It's like people know sometimes, you
Gotta
know.
just in the queue. Ask
Yeah.
10 later.
Yeah.
Yeah. I got an experience of attending a hockey game live, like
Oh, nice.
in the stadium, and it was in the town of Peterborough, Ontario, so
Woo, we love it.
couple
Go
couple hours
Pete's.
away from. Yeah, yep, it was a Pete's.
Yeah.
I think it was in the Memorial Center.
Oh,
So,
nice.
and I found out that the fun does not lie in the players like swinging the puck in the goal and whatnot. The fun is watching them tackle each other into the the edge,
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
and yeah,
It's a
that's a real fun.
it's a fast, rough game. I mean, um, I haven't seen a hurling match, but I'd love to one day. I mean, I think they're
Yeah,
you know,
that's like the Irish version of hockey. I think ice hockey comes from hurling. If you look at which is basically ice hockey but on land.
Mhm. Didn't know that. Um, yeah, I know that lacrosse is also a very prominent Canadian sport. The university that I attended, Trent, has a prominent lacrosse team, although
Oh
I've never
wow.
really attended a game.
I went to a few professional games, and it's fun. It's really it's fast and exciting. The yeah yeah, I enjoyed watching it.
Yeah. So, Chris, have you had a chance to visit Kayleigh's home country, Ireland?
No, I would love to. Well, funny story. This is something we just found out, but my great grandfather was born in the same town
Oh,
that
don't.
Kayleigh hails from. So so now we we may be related. Who knows?
Chris making a running joke that we're cousins now with me and my Irish friends. He's like, "Look, I'm from the same city, cousin."
Cousin. Um, so I would love to go and see. I mean, I you know, I love a lot of Irish folk music, and I would really love to go. And Canada's great, but it's a new republic, right? It's it. I've never been to Europe. I'd love to go and just see some real history from a long time ago. I think that. But it seems like anyone I've met from Kayleigh's town, her parents and they just seem like really, really nice people. I think I'd really love to go one day. Maybe we'll play there.
We'll do a little.
But do a little tour. Yeah.
My brother Callum is also a musician. Maybe we'll get him to set us up with some venues. And my mom already
Yeah.
said, "Welcome to the family." Once you decided you were.
Cousin.
Um,
Yeah.
I found out some time ago that there was a prominent TV miniseries about the life of Pierre Trudeau, and
Oh, wow.
the man who played him is well, an Irishman, but not from Ireland, but Irish American. I think he's Canadian now. Colm Feore,
Right. Yes.
and I
Yeah.
believe Colm is a very common name. It's spelled Colm, and so I hope I pronounced that correctly.
Callum, I think.
Colm.
You
That's
were close.
yeah. And
Yeah, it though.
Yeah,
some
that was
yeah. So he played Pierre Trudeau, and I would recommend that
Ooh,
show.
you'll have to give it a watch.
was that a mini series? I that was quite a while ago.
Yeah, yeah.
I,
I
I,
think it was
I
in
remember.
the 70s or 80s. Um,
Yeah. Yeah.
oh, right. Actually, it's in 2002.
2002. Right. Yeah.
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 It's called Trudeau, and it's a CBC thing. So,
Nice. Yeah.
perhaps something for you to do this Christmas.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
You mean I have to take a break from watching the shitty holiday movies? Thing with Lindsay Lohan in it, I think that Netflix has to offer.
Mhm.
They're so fun.
Oh, what's the Lindsay Lohan Christmas movie that we're talking about?
I forget that it's the new one on Netflix that just came out this year. I didn't even pay attention to the title. Um, but you'll see it if you type her in. It's not her one from last year. It's this year's one.
Okay. Uh, I may have to look it up, but I'm haven't been too curious about Lindsay Lohan since since forever. I know she did a very uh controversial movie called The Canyons in 2013, but other than that, not much.
I
Hmm.
didn't hear about that one.
Yeah, it's controversial in that those who watch it knows it's controversial, but it's unknown anywhere else.
Oh, it didn't make it to Netflix, so
Yeah, it's it's very odd because the man who directed it is a screenwriter for Taxi Driver,
oh,
Raider, and the screenwriter is the man who wrote the American Psycho book, Bret Easton Ellis.
oh my God, I'm
Wow.
dangerous now. I'll have to look this up.
Yeah, it's a very odd
A,
movie, so
a
you're
Christmas
warned.
slasher film.
So what are your hopes for 2025, both music-wise and, personal-wise?
Let's record more music. I want to finish writing all of these songs that we've had in the back pocket for a while and get to work. What about you, Chris?
Yeah, yeah. Play just get better at our craft and get better you know, get better as a band and just, keep playing and we're just we really enjoy every little bit of this. So
Yeah,
let's we just want to keep doing it.
maybe we'll be signed by a big record label and maybe we'll
Woo!
Canada and Ireland. Yeah, big plans
Big
2025.
plan.
All right. Yeah. Well, I hope you achieve, if not all of that, but some of that at least.
Yeah. We are having a blast.
Yeah, to have a blast.
All right. So, final question. What does music mean to you?
No, music is life. There's no life without it. It's self-expression for me, and I don't know, it's a lovely way to, I don't know, communicate with the world.
Yeah. Yeah, music says things that I can't figure out how to say myself, you
Yeah,
know. It feels the things that I can't describe and it's a beautiful, magical place to live.
yes, very integral. Can't live
Yeah.
without.
No.
Okay. Well, Chris and Kayleigh of Dandelion Highway, thank you very much for joining the show.
Thanks
Thank
for having us. This has been great.
you. Have a nice weekend. Thank you.
Sorry I was late. Stupid phone.